Good evening and thank you for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Parikshit Luthra and here are the headlines we are tracking. The union government is concerned about the private investment cycle not taking off. Sources say ministries have been told to consult with industry and find out the reason. Also mulls tax breaks for select sectors. That's an exclusive. Chaos across cryptocurrencies after the largest exchange, Binance, abandons its proposed deal to rescue its rival FTX. Binance cites due diligence and reports that FTX mishandled customer funds as the reason. Cryptocurrencies lose $100 billion in value over 24 hours, with Bitcoin hitting a 2-year low. Inflation finally starts to cool in the United States. Prices in October accelerated by 7.7%, which is slower than Wall Street's expectation of a 7.9% rise. Clouds over the potential relaunch of Jet Airways. Sources say the Jalan Calroc Consortium is yet to fulfill its payment obligations. The consortium has also not deposited any of the 900 crore rupees it had committed towards Capex and working capital requirements. That's another exclusive. Government sells 1.5% stake in Axis Bank as it exits the company, manages to raise nearly 4,000 crore rupees, but sources say no plans to sell stake in ITC for now. The ballooning fertilizer subsidy bill could disrupt the fiscal glide path. Government could shell out up to 2.5 lakh crore rupees as subsidy this year. Officials are pinning their hopes on global headwinds to mellow by next year. Supreme Court extends the status quo on commercial cultivation of genetically modified mustard seeds till the 17th of November. Union government argues that opposition to GM seeds is based on unfounded fears, and regulators in US, Canada and Australia have reported no adverse effects. Elon Musk asked Twitter to prepare for difficult times ahead in his first email to staff. Also scraps the option of remote working. US President Joe Biden says Musk's potential ties with other countries could be worth looking at. Ukraine remains suspicious of Russia's announcement that its troops will withdraw from the city of Kherson. Pulling out of Kherson, which is occupied 8 months ago, will be yet another blow to Russia and its military offensive. US government official tells CNBC-TV18 that India remains their #1 priority on visa renewal. Says that the waiting period for B1 and B2 visa interview waiver cases has come down to 9 months. Adds that a record 82,000 student visas were issued to Indians this year so far. The top story this evening, and this is a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. The government is concerned about the private investment cycle not taking off. Ministries have been asked to reach out to industry and find out why investments and capacity building are not taking off. Ministries will also give suggestions to the government on what more can be done on ease of demand, whether there are more tax breaks that are needed, and the government is urging the industry to do more. We hear that the budget could have measures including tax breaks to spur demand domestically and also the private investment cycle.
We will do everything to get industry coming and investing here. Give PLI. We've given PLI. I want to hear from the Indian Inc. What's stopping you? When countries and industries abroad think this is the place to be in now, at this time, FDIs are coming, FPIs are coming, it's all, the stock market is so confident, the Indian retail investor believes in them. Is it like Hanuman? You don't believe in your own capacity, in your own strength. And has there got to be somebody, standing next and say, hey, you're Hanuman, do it.
And the production-linked incentive schemes have not taken off across many sectors. In a recent speech, the Chief Economic Advisor, Anantha Nageshwaran, was citing data from the DPIIT as of September. The data shows pharmaceuticals, drug manufacturing has achieved 107% of the investment target that the government had envisaged. However, only 13% of the employment target has been realized so far. The other relative outperformers are also linked to pharma, with active pharma ingredients and medical devices faring better than some of the other sectors on both parameters. Mobile phone manufacturing has realized 38% of the investment target, but only 5% of the employment target. Food products sector, meanwhile, has achieved 54% of the investment target and 49% of the employment target. It must be noted that pharma PLI schemes were among the first off the block, as it was launched in 2020. In sharp contrast, electronics PLI, which was launched in April 2020, has achieved less than 5% of the stated investment target and less than 0.5% of its employment target. Government sources say there will be a regular review of the PLI schemes, and it is still early days to judge its performance. Former Finance Secretary S.C. Garg said businesses will invest only if there is demand and the road to profits. He was also skeptical of the idea that more tax breaks can actually shore up private investment.
So the businessman will make investment only if the businessman sees a profit at the end, and the profit comes only if there is a demand. You don't make investment for the sake of for its own sake, without actually visibility of profit being there. And the government had done has taken lots of steps to that. Manufacturing companies being subjected to a very low tax of 15%. What better tax incentive can be there if you believe that the tax can or tax incentives can incentivize investments, and that manufacturing company taxation at this rate has actually not taken off. What else you can give?
Now on to all the markets action. The benchmark indices slipped 1% each amid weak global cues. The market was also awaiting US inflation data. Sensex fell over 400 points, Nifty fell over 100 points but managed to stay above 18,000. Bank and midcap also closed in the red. Nervousness persisted in the global currency markets too. The Indian rupee weakened on the back of a strong US dollar. $1 now costs nearly 82 rupees. Other Asian currencies were also trading lower against the dollar. And the big global story that will move the markets tomorrow morning: inflation in the United States has finally started to ease. In October, the consumer price index accelerated by 7.7% against expectations of a 7.9% rise compared to the same period last year. Even on a month-on-month basis, inflation has started to ease. Core inflation, which shows you if prices are rising, barring seasonal items like food and fuel, is also easing. Core inflation in October is at 6.3% against expectations of a 6.5% rise.
The thing about this, the most important number to come out of this monthly report is not the year over year. It's that monthly core inflation. That it came down is great news. It's not a trend because it's just 1 month, and it's not that low. I mean, at 0.3%, it's great that we've made progress, but that still remains higher than where the Fed wants it. If you're raising 75 basis points a meeting, we're going to have to figure out what the timing is of the pivot.
The cryptocurrency market is in turmoil. Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, has abandoned a proposed deal to acquire FTX, which is another league exchange, one other large exchange. Manisha Gupta is here with more on the chaos across cryptocurrencies.
Well, it has been a disaster, yes. 48 hours after announcing that it is looking to acquire FTX, Binance has walked away from the deal. On the 8th of November, Binance had agreed to rescue FTX and signed a letter of intent pending due diligence. Today, citing due diligence, Binance has abandoned the deal. In its statement, Binance pointed to reports suggesting that customers' funds may have been mishandled. With FTX teetering on the brink, founder Sam Bankman-Friedman has lost nearly 94% of his personal wealth, making it the biggest wealth collapse for a billionaire in a single day. The collapse of the platform's token also impacted celebrities like supermodel Gisele Bündchen, American football star Tom Brady, and basketball player Steph Curry, all of whom have a substantial amount of their wealth tied with FTX. The FTX contagion has also spread to the rest of the market, with investors wary of a liquidity crunch. Global market capital of cryptocurrencies is now below $1 trillion mark. The last count was $850 billion there. The Bitcoin is trading at a 2-year lows, and that's exactly what you have seen with other cryptocurrencies, which have continued to trade below their crucial $20,000 mark, especially for Bitcoin and the other major coins seeing cuts of more than 50% from the start of this year. Whether it is about Ethereum, Cardano, Dogecoin, Solana, they're all down, and there is simply no place to hide. Solana probably is the worst affected over the last few days. It has fallen 45% in the last 24 hours after fears that FTX sister company Alameda, which holds the token, could sell its share. So chaos across cryptocurrencies.
Let's take a look at other headlines we are tracking this evening. Government sells 1.5% stake in Axis Bank as it exits the company. Manages to raise nearly 4,000 crore rupees, but sources say no plans to sell stake in ITC for now. Deal with Citigroup involving stake sale of 0.6% equity, shares worth 306 crore rupees. The deal was at a discount of up to 2% on the current market price. Eicher Motors reported a fairly inline set of second quarter numbers. Net profit met street expectations at over 650 crores. However, the auto major missed estimates on the margin and revenue front. Margins came in at 23% versus an expectation of 24% on a year-on-year basis. Eicher Motors has seen a 76% jump in net profit and a 56% increase in revenues. It was a good quarter for Apollo Hospitals, beating street estimates. However, on a year-on-year basis, the company's net profit dropped by 20%, while EBITDA dipped 8%. But on the revenue front, the company did fairly well, up 14% year-on-year. Food delivery platform Zomato's losses declined by 40% in the second quarter of the fiscal on a year-on-year basis. Shilpa Ranipeta has done the number crunching. She joins us now. Shilpa, over to you.
Well, the food delivery platform has reported revenues of about 1,600 crore rupees. That's up 62% from a little over 1,000 crores in the same quarter last year. Now, losses have narrowed about 40% to 250 crore rupees, while the EBITDA loss is narrowed to about 311 crore rupees from 536 crore year-on-year. Now, this quarter's numbers also include 50 days of Blinkit's financials also post the acquisition closing. And now the adjusted revenue ex Blinkit grew about 38% year-on-year to about 1,900 crore rupees. Now, contribution margin also improved to about 4.5%, and as a result, the company says that the food delivery adjusted EBITDA has hit a break-even in the quarter. Now, addressing the macroeconomic scenario, Zomato has said that while there is room for food delivery to grow much faster, there is not much slowdown being seen in quick commerce business, which is Blinkit. Now, the company has also reiterated that it has no plans to make any new minority investments, and even the new business segments like intercity food delivery and the 10-minute delivery are all relatively low investment initiatives. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much for telling us about Zomato earnings, the Q2 scorecard. Moving on, a ballooning fertilizer subsidy bill may pose fresh fiscal challenges for the government. The union government is staring at a bill close to 2.5 lakh crores this fiscal, almost 3 times higher than FY19. Sapna Das gets us the math on the fertilizer subsidy and what it means for the government.
The fertilizer subsidy is a crucial part of the government's expenses every year, and the trend over the last few years has been a bit worrying for a government that is keen on sticking to a fiscal glide path. During the last 3 financial years alone, fertilizer subsidy has been clocking a new high every year. From a modest 73,000 crores in 2019, the number has nearly jumped 55% in 2 years to 1.33 lakh crores in 2021, and then to a record 1.62 lakh crores last fiscal. For FY23, this number is expected to come in anywhere between 2.25 to 2.5 lakh crores. This is based on the fact that the Department of Fertilizers has asked the Finance Ministry for an additional 1.48 lakh crores, which means that the budget will nearly double from its original size. Of this enhanced budget, 1.4 lakh crore is broadly earmarked for urea. That's 125% higher than the budget estimate. Nutrient-based subsidy is expected 112 crores, which is 166% higher than the original budget outlay. A 2.5 lakh crore fertilizer subsidy bill is huge for an economy of India's size. Even at an expanded nominal GDP of 237 lakh crores, this works out to 1% of the GDP. It's also a little higher than the food subsidy budget of 2 lakh crores for FY23 if the additional financial burden brought on by the government's free food and grains program, the PMGKY, is not counted. But the government is hopeful that the shock of a higher subsidy bill will not spill over into the next year. According to government officials, as the ripple effects of global lockdowns and the Russia-Ukraine conflict fade away, next year's fertilizer subsidy bill is likely to be lower, helped also by lower input costs and softening gas prices. In the meanwhile, the government is caught between a rock and a hard place because it remains committed to protecting farmers, and fertilizer subsidies are a crucial part of that. On the other hand, it also wants to maintain its fiscal glide path. The only silver lining is that when it comes to fiscal deficit, the government can deviate from its target if extraneous circumstances beyond its control continue to play out.
All right, let's focus on the court corner now. Supreme Court has extended the status quo on commercial cultivation of genetically modified mustard seeds at least till the 17th of November. The union government argued that opposition to GM seeds is based on unfounded fears, and regulators in US, Canada and Australia have reported no adverse effects on health. The Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee of the Environment Ministry has approved the commercial cultivation of GM mustard. Abhimanyu Sharma is here with the details. Abhimanyu, take us through what the court said.
The Supreme Court has extended its status quo order till the 17th of November on commercial cultivation of mustard. A batch of petitions have been filed before the top court challenging use of genetically modified mustard, claiming that there will be concerns not just to environment but also to human health. The union government, meanwhile, has been dismissive of these concerns and has claimed that these unfounded fears will hurt not just India's farmers but also the industry and the economy at large, since India imports 55 to 60% of its edible oil requirements, and use of genetically modified mustard is going to substantially increase the yield of mustard crops and will make India far more self-sufficient in production of edible oil. The union government has cited similar experiments which were carried out by various expert bodies in the past, and has also said that the regulatory authorities in various Western countries have already allowed use of genetically modified edible oil seeds. They have also pointed to the fact that India already imports canola oil and soybean oil, which has been derived from genetically modified seeds, and there is no reason why the same should not be extended to mustard in order to ensure that India becomes self-sufficient in the edible oil. It remains to be seen what further observations will be made by the top court in this regard and what contentions will be raised on the next date of hearing by the petitioners.
All right, thanks Abhimanyu for joining us. In other news, sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the delayed GST Council meetings chaired by the Finance Minister has irked some states and raised concerns as well. The states that have expressed concerns about how they should be informed about the delay in formalizing GOM reports are Tamil Nadu, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Kerala and Punjab. The Finance Minister had taken cognizance of these concerns and will likely hold a meeting within a month. Time for a short break, but coming up, clouds over the potential relaunch of Jet Airways. Details when we are back. There's a fresh cloud over the relaunch of Jet Airways. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the Jalan-Calroc consortium, which won the airline through the IBC process, has not yet fulfilled its various payment obligations, and the deadline to do this is now around the corner. CNBC-TV18's Madhiya Mujawar has more details. Madhiya, what is the current state of affairs and what kind of deadlines are we talking about?
Well, Parikshit, there are two deadlines that the Jalan-Calroc consortium has to meet, and as things stand, it looks to be in danger of missing both of these. First, the consortium has to pay 52 crore rupees to the airline's workmen and employees by the close of business on the 11th of November. Sources tell me that this payment has not been made as yet. The second deadline has to do with the payment of 185 crore rupees to various lenders. The consortium has time till the 16th of November to make this payment, and we learned that so far nothing has been paid on this account. These deadlines are as per the consortium's submission to court that it will pay employees within 175 days of the effective date, which is the 20th of May 2022, and lenders within 180 days. Sources also tell me that the Jalan-Calroc consortium will get ownership of Jet Airways only after the first tranche of payments to the lenders is made. And so if the consortium does not get the transfer of ownership, it cannot lease aircraft in the name of Jet Airways. This would mean further delays in Jet's relaunch. That's not the only problem. The NCLAT has directed the consortium to pay Provident Fund and gratuity dues for all eligible Jet employees until June 2019, when the insolvency process began. Sources say this amount works out to over 200 crore rupees. They add that the consortium has also not deposited any of the 900 crore rupees it had committed towards Capex and working capital requirements. When I reached out to the consortium, it said it has deposited 150 crores with Jet Airways, but my sources tell me there is no indication of what this money will be used for. The consortium, however, is confident. It has said, and I quote, JKC is in compliance with its obligations and will infuse funds in compliance with applicable laws and NCLT directions. We remain deeply committed to the relaunch of Jet Airways. We are lined up ready for takeoff as soon as the remaining steps of the ownership transfer process are complete. End of quote. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Madhya, for joining us on that important story regarding Jet Airways. Let's move on now and let's focus on Joe Biden and what he said about Elon Musk. This after Elon Musk asked Twitter employees to prepare for difficult times ahead in his first email to staff, also scrapping the option of remote working. US President Joe Biden said Musk's potential ties with other countries could be worth looking at. A US government official tells CNBC-TV18 that India remains their #1 priority on visa renewal, says that the waiting period for B1 and B2 visa interviews waiver cases has come down to 9 months. The official adds that a record 82,000 student visas were issued to Indians this year so far. Telecom giant Reliance Jio has launched the True 5G, its Wi-Fi service in Bengaluru and Hyderabad. The telecom giant has said that Jio Welcome offer users will get unlimited 5G data with speed over 1 gigabyte per second. Shifting our focus to battleground Himachal Pradesh at 9.2%, the unemployment rate in the state is higher than the national average of 7.8%, and the youth are not happy. They blame the government for not creating ample job opportunities for them. Political parties have been quick to make this a major plank in their campaigns, with both BJP and Congress promising 1 lakh government jobs to the Himachali youth. CNBC-TV18 Santya Gora reports that for the people there, this number is a pittance.
20-year-old Neha Sharma is from Chamba, 335 kilometers from Shimla city. She came to Shimla for her PhD in political science, but is certain that even that PhD will not guarantee her a job in the state, given its poor employment track record. Not surprising then that unemployment is a major issue that political parties have been using as state assembly elections draw near.
हमारे जो हिमाचल में अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट है वो जो नेशनल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट का रेट है उससे ज़्यादा है और हिमाचल के जितने भी पढ़े लिखे बच्चे हैं मेरे अकॉर्डिंग तो हर किसी का इशू ही अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है इस टाइम पे क्योंकि तुम इतना ज़्यादा पढ़ लिख रहे हो यूनिवर्सिटी में ऑफ कोर्स आए और उसके बाद तुम्हारी गवर्नमेंट तुम्हें बेसिक चीज़ तुम्हारी जॉब भी तक नहीं दे पा रही है तो फिर मतलब कोई तुक नहीं बनता ना हमारा उनको वोट देने का.
As per CMIE's latest report, the state's unemployment rate stands at 9.2%. higher than the national average of 7.8%. Data from the state government says that over 8.82 lakh youth have registered at employment exchanges in Himachal Pradesh, and experts believe this is only a fraction of the unemployed youth in the state. The Congress has promised 1 lakh government jobs and 5 lakh private jobs should it be voted to power, but knows this will be tough.
The most important thing is to have your own resource mobilization, which nobody has been talking about seriously.
The BJP also acknowledges the problem but says its government has made some solid inroads on this front.
हमने इन 5 साल के कार्यकाल में भी अगर जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ की अगर हम बात करें तो हमने लगभग 60,000 का आंकड़ा टच किया है जो पीछे की तुलना में बहुत ज़्यादा है, कंपैरेटिवली बहुत ज़्यादा है।
The youth, however, are not impressed.
एक महीना पहले जो हिमाचल प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से नोटिफिकेशन आई है जॉब्स की रिगार्डिंग, तकरीबन 1300-1400 पोस्ट आई है और आप हिसाब लगा सकते हैं कि कितनी हमारे प्रदेश की पॉपुलेशन है और किस हिसाब से जो मतलब एवरेज बनती है वो कितनी कम है पोस्ट की।
एज कम्पेयर टू प्रीवियस गवर्नमेंट थोड़ी कम निकली इस बार वैकेंसीज निकली है, बट उतनी नहीं जितनी एक्सपेक्टेड थी।
सरकार वादे करती है, हर साल पूरे नहीं करती।
कोई भी पेपर देखेंगे आप तो उसमें अगर कोई 10 से 15 वैकेंसी है और उसमें ऑल ओवर हिमाचल, मैं शिमला की बात करूं तो 1 लाख से लेकर 1.5 लाख का बच्चा उस पर कम्पिटिट करता है।
पोस्टें तो वैकेंट पड़ी है, सरकार भर नहीं रही उनको, ऊपर से आउटसोर्स का मसला। अब इधर पोस्टें नहीं कर दी। अभी JOIT की बात करूं मैं 965, तो इसमें 300 पोस्टें हैं, 318, तो इसमें 1,28,000 बच्चों ने फॉर्म भरा है। तो आप सोच सकते हैं अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट कितनी है।
The influx of industry into the state in the early 2000s has slowed down with the tax holidays offered by the centre and the state government coming to an end. While the bigger players that entered have stuck around, some of the smaller players have moved operations to states like Telangana, which offer easier terms and more attractive schemes, taking jobs with them.
Political parties are claiming that they will bring more private industries to the state, which will also generate jobs for the people of the state in private sector. But the fact of the matter is that even the existing private setups prefer cheap labours, which mostly comprises outsiders, restricting job opportunities for Himachalis. And in the meantime, people of Himachal Pradesh continue to move out of the state to earn their livelihood. In Himachal Pradesh, with camera person Balbir Singh, this is Santya for CNBC-TV18.
And do track all the economic issues being raised in these assembly elections with CNBC-TV18. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.